Yo, 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 yo. Getting this live up on YouTube, but we are live on we're live on YouTube, getting this live on Instagram. What's good, everybody? Inside Fighting. We're back with another episode of Insider Betting. It's your boy Cody Talks IF with your boy Insider Fighting's best GOAT analyst, Jesse Rowe. We're going to be breaking down Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady, London fight card. If you guys don't know, this card's starting early tomorrow, so you got to get those bets in early. Don't wait on them, because if you wait, you're going to be too late with this one. The card starts early. I believe it's at like 12 p.m. on Saturday. So be ready for that. We'll get into some of these prelim fights first. Tell you guys which locks I got on the prelims. What's up? Greetings from Ireland in the chat. Awesome. Nice to have you in here. Let's go. We got Guram Kutateladze versus Caue Fernandes, starting off the early, not the early prelims, but just the prelims. And I like Guram in this one. He's a Georgian. He trains with Ilya and Alexander Tybura. He's known them his whole life. Their moms know each other. His last fight was against somebody fighting on the main card, Jordan Vucenic. This guy's all tatted up. He won that fight in a 3-round decision. So he's coming off some momentum there. I have Guram in this fight, and I really like him as a lock. My first lock to my parlay. What do you think about that fight, Jesse?
Yeah, I mean, we had an interview from James Lynch who interviewed Guram, and I don't know, I kind of really started to like the guy when I was doing a little more research on him, learning more about him. I guess I actually just literally before this happened, before we started recording, the Tybura brothers are supposedly in London, so they're going to be cornering him, or they're there to support him. I don't know if they're in the corner or what. So they've got a little extra Tybura support going on, which is kind of dope. I just look, to be perfectly honest, looking at this fight, I feel like Guram is just kind of like a level above, and I like that you're making him a lock. But what are the odds here? Do you have the odds by any chance?
He's like plus 120, so he's a pretty heavy favorite in this one.
Guram is
yes, he's a pretty heavy favorite.
Okay.
One of the bigger favorites on the card, actually. Pull it up.
Yeah, I would take Guram, and just solely specifically because the Tybura brothers are going to be there. That's going to be his little that's going to be his kicker. But no, I thought he looked really good against Vucenic, and because I think a lot of people were predicting that Vucenic was going to win that fight because he's one of the most highly touted prospects that the UFC has right now, or in terms of like hype behind him. So I think that was a pretty solid quality win. I think it says a lot about like where his skill set is at, and the guy really believes he can be champion based on what he said in interviews. So I haven't seen Caue Fernandes talk like that yet, so I'll give Guram the edge on this one.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to have the performance that he did as well. That was my first fight seeing him. That was also what's his name, the tattooed guy, Jordan.
Vucenic.
Yeah, so that was his first fight in the UFC. I thought he was a lock for sure, so I actually lost money on that fight, but I'm not going to lose money. I'm going to bet them both on this card. I'm going to bet Guram and Jordan. But next fight, this is a feel-good pick. You know, he's the biggest favorite on the card. Just put him in there. It will hit, I promise. Not financial advice. Next fight on the card is Nathan Fletcher versus Loughran. These guys have a past. They're both from London, I believe, so they've fought back in Cage Warriors 2018, where Nathan Fletcher won that fight 2-1, I believe, the judges' scorecards. It was a 3-round fight. He kind of just grappled his way into a win there, a lot of control time in that fight. And he says he came on Insider Fighting. Mike Owen's been killing interviews out in London right now. And he mentioned on that interview with Mike Owens that he's going to do the same thing. He's going to control him and win and dominate all 3 rounds of this fight. I like Loughran. I'm going to check out the odds on this one, but I feel better putting my money on Nathan Fletcher in this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's virtually a coin flip. It's on DraftKings, it's minus 115 for Fletcher, minus 105 for Loughran. So it's basically a pick 'em. You know, Caolan's actually kind of a friend of the page, and you know, I had high hopes for him in one of his last fights, and I think he kind of didn't have a disappointing performance. I just think he was like slightly underwhelming, and he would probably be the one to admit that. And I don't really have a pick in terms of who I think is going to win, but I do kind of feel like this fight's probably going to decision. If I were to pick. So if I were to look at like how to bet it, I would pick whoever your winner is by decision. And I agree. I'm kind of leaning towards Fletcher, and that's a plus 150. So I kind of like that bet. Plus 150 by decision. Throw it in a parlay, get a little extra juice.
I agree. The decision play is probably a better play than the pick 'em in this one. It is kind of a coin toss, like you said. Getting into the next two fights, we got a girl fight, and we got some names I'm unfamiliar with that I'm ready. I hope they put on a performance that I'm like, wow, can't forget the name anymore. But either of these fights, do you want to break down, or do you want to skip into the heavyweight fight?
Is this still prelims?
Yes.
I could talk about it for a second.
All right. So we got Shauna Bannon versus Puja Tomar. And I'm not too familiar with either of these fighters. I have seen Shauna
Bannon, yeah.
She fought before. She won a decision in her last fight. I don't think this one's going to be the most exciting fight. I'm not like super excited for it or anything. I don't know, man. What do you think about this one?
Well, Shauna Bannon is out of Ireland. Conor McGregor has been a big backer of Shauna Bannon. Every single time that she fights, Conor puts out a bunch of tweets about her. So I have followed her a little bit. Really good kickboxer. The problem is not a lot of power, and that showed in her UFC debut and her second fight, which I believe she won her second fight, but she lost her debut. And what she's shown me is that she's really effective striking, but she does not have power. And obviously that's not uncommon with some of these women's divisions, but it does mean that if she is getting out grappled, that she has some difficulty with racking up enough damage to have a clean win. And that's sort of been a little bit of her Achilles heel so far, but she's a minus 166. And I do think that she's a good enough high level kickboxer that she will point her way in this one to a decision. I mean, if you want to sprinkle something on a KO, you've got a plus 1100 for her to win by KO or TKO, but minus 135 to win by decision. So essentially, you're basically might as well just bet her on the money line, because you're only gaining like plus 20 for her to win by decision. So just go money line.
Yeah, that's actually how I do remember her last fight. She was just throwing. She threw 252 strikes in that fight. So she is entertaining. Yeah. She doesn't have the power, like you mentioned. That was a 3-round fight. But to get that many strikes off, it's going to be a fun one. And not too many thoughts about her opponent. Maybe she just wipes her out, gets that KO plus 1,100 cash. We'll see what happens.
I think she's going to need to grapple. She'll, although plus 2,800 to win by submission, that's always a little tempting. But I don't think she gets many of those.
No. And then this next one, I'm gonna let you take the lead on this. I'm unfamiliar with either fighter. I'm not sure about Christian Leroy Duncan or Andrey Pulyaev. So you could take the lead on this one.
Main card still
prelims here. We still got 4 more in the prelims, but the next 3 I'm pretty excited for.
Hold on, let me pull this up. So here we go. Let's go to the odds first.
Got to break down.
So we got this is actually our biggest favorite on the card, by the way. I thought it was Guram. Christian Leroy Duncan.
Oh yeah, wow.
575. Pulyaev is a plus 425. Obviously, Christian Leroy Duncan is going to be the hometown favorite here. He is, I believe, we were actually trying to get an interview with him in London, but I think he actually blew us off, so he loses a little bit of bonus points for that. But 8 KOs in his 10 wins, only 1 submission. Only 1 decision. So feels pretty obvious that, we're going by that, like a knockout is a pretty good bet here.
Yeah.
For Pulyaev, if only SureDog would actually load. He's 9-2, 5 KOs, 2 submissions. I think that I'm pretty confident betting Leroy Duncan here. And if you want to go for the knockout, you are pretty much, it's minus 150, but if you want to go by decision, it's plus 250. So it seems like those are your 2 best bets. And I think Duncan by knockout is the best. Otherwise, I'm not touching those odds. I'm either throwing him in a parlay or I'm not touching the odds at all.
Yeah. When there's that big of a favorite, you just don't even want to test it. Last week, there was a huge favorite and he got fraud checked in this, I believe, second round and got rocked and submitted and plus like 500 cash. So those ones are scary to me. You never know what's going to happen, especially being in the prelims in London. But it is his hometown.
That sort of reminds me of what just happened to Left Hand of God. What's that guy's name? That got beat by Sam Patterson? Danny Barlow. Yeah, that's sort of similar situation a little bit. I don't know. I think Leroy will bounce back though. Hometown crowd. He'll have a little extra juice. This kind of feels like his fight to lose.
Yeah. This next one, heavyweight belt, Marcin Tybura, UFC veteran versus Mick Parkin. Mick Parkin got a submission win and a UFC contract off Contender Series in 2019. Guy's 10-0 right now. He's kind of getting a jump up into the rankings. He's a ranked heavyweight without having to get a ranked heavyweight fight. They kind of just threw him in there. We've seen some heavyweights just float away like Yair Rozenstruik, and people are just falling out of the heavyweight division. I believe there's only like 20-something fighters or something crazy like that who fight in the heavyweight division in the UFC. So this is his chance to make a name for himself in his hometown, I believe, as well. He's from London, I believe. So I have Mick Parkin in this one. I think he's just going to land more heavy shots. I think he gets it done by knockout. He's just got to not get taken down here. If Tybura just vets him out and tires him out and wins each round by control time, just sitting on him, it would be very tragic, very sad. Could happen, but I got Mick Parkin doing something special in this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty funny because if you look at Mick Parkin's record before going to Contender Series, it was all knockouts. Every single fight, it was 5 straight knockouts in his 5 fights before getting Dana White's Contender Series. Since joining the UFC, he has a submission and he has a knockout and then 3 decisions. So it shows that he's having a little bit of trouble with connecting on big shots since going to that higher level of the UFC. I mean, the fact that he that he won a unanimous decision against Muhammad Usman, who loves to wrestle, it says to me what I need to know about that fight. And the question is if Tybura can get on top of him, like you said, if he can wrestle him to the ground, because that's Tybura's path to victory here is wrestling to the ground, getting a submission or just control time, which I do think is very, very much in the cards for a fight like this, because I do like Mick Parkin. I think his striking is a little bit sloppy. And if you have sloppy striking against a guy like Tybura, who can really, wrestle you up against the cage and get you down, if you can't keep him at a distance, you're going to have some trouble. So I'm actually going to pick an upset here. I think Tybura is going to get it done. Ooh. What are the odds?
They're pretty close as well, I believe.
Okay, so so plus it's like a coin flip. Yeah, I like Tybura here. I think wrestling is going to get it done. Decision too. I would bet.
Let's not forget that Mick Parkin does train with Tom Aspinall. They've been training for a long time, so maybe he's been able to clean up the striking. Where's Tom Aspinall going to be on tonight, on the night of these fights or the day of these fights? Maybe he's in the corner of Mick Parkin here.
He'll definitely be ringside for it for sure. Whether it's corner or I'm not sure, but yeah, he will be. You're right though. He is getting some lessons from the interim champion, so maybe that's a little extra juice for him.
Interim champion, I love that. So true, but so sad.
Yeah.
Felipe dos Santos versus Lanier Cavia. I like both these fighters. I think Felipe dos Santos is exciting. Let's check out his last fights here. This decision loss to Andre Lima, decision win. Okay, so he hasn't been getting these knockouts, which is a little concerning. Lanier coming off of a decision as well. Maybe a little decision bet here could be good. I'm not picking this fight. I don't have it in any parlays. I should have the odds pulled up here as well. But they are looking like they are.
Yeah. The odds. Yeah. Kavanaugh is a minus 290. Dos Santos plus 235.
He's another one of these big favorites that Felipe dos Santos could get a decision win here. He could do it. But let me know what you think about this fight. What's the chat think about this fight?
Yeah. Kavanaugh, had one of those. I'm pretty sure on Contender Series, he had just this like spectacular knockout, if I remember correctly. And then he won his debut by decision. But he's got potential to be a real star at flyweight. And this is flyweight fight, right?
Yes, a lot of these stars coming up in flyweight nowadays.
Yeah. I think he has a real chance to be a star, especially this could be like a breakout moment for him at UFC London. I think that it's a bigger step up, but it's pretty clear his path to win is going to be on the feet. Dos Santos is going to want to take this to the ground, use some jiu-jitsu. But I really like Kavanaugh in this fight. Minus 290 is not a great money line bet, but if you want to get a little more specific, plus 275 by knockout or TKO is actually I kind of like that one a lot. Just because I do think this guy has really, really good hands for flyweight. I hate betting knockouts in flyweight, Cody. Like it's my least favorite thing to do because it just doesn't happen very often. But I do think that he's one of the few that can do it.
I hate it even more in bantamweight. I say it all the time. Bantamweight knockouts, I can never bet that. But we have these guys like what was his face last weekend? Contender Series, started the main card. His name was Kevin Vallejos. He came up from Contender Series. He got a huge knockout. That was flyweight. Gene Silva came up, got 4 knockouts in a row from Contender Series. So these flyweights are kind of starting to have that power. Lanier knockout, kind of like that. Or I'd just bet it to go to decision here. But
yeah, I mean, if you Lanier by decision is minus 115, so you gain like plus 170 out of it by betting that way. So that's not bad either.
Yeah. Next fight, Jai Herbert versus Chris Padilla, the Taco. There's some hype on Jai Herbert. I think he's the favorite here. He had a head kick knockdown to Ilia Topuria in one of their earlier fights.
Yeah.
But he's typically just a decision fighter. Like he's getting decision wins, decision losses. Chris Padilla, on the other hand, he's got his last win by knockout, win before that by a submission. I think he could get the finish in this one. I have him as a lock in my parlay. I think it's great money on him, great numbers on him. And going to his opponent's territory, his interview, again, Mike Owens killed it with another interview, had Chris Padilla on, going into the opponent's territory, taking over his turf, taking over his country, and becoming a star globally. I think this sparks something special for Chris Padilla, and I think he gets it done.
Yeah, I believe he said he wants to plant his flag, and he's thinking of himself as like an invader going into English soil. And he was quoting like fucking Genghis Khan and Julius Caesar, and he's a big fan of history. So that right there is already enough to take him seriously. But also Jai Herbert's 36. He's 13-5. He hasn't fought like a ton. Like he's fought 3 times in the past 3 years. Not super active. And I think Padilla's 7 years younger.
Yeah.
And he's on a little bit of a hot streak here.
Yeah.
Also, he fought in Up Next Fighting, and I actually just met the owner of Up Next Fighting like a few weeks ago. So I like that a lot. So let's go with let's go with Padilla here by decision. The odds is minus 108 for Padilla, minus 112 for Herbert. So it's just basically a coin flip.
Yeah.
But I like Padilla coming in here too. I think it's pretty much this might actually be my lock of the night at minus 108.
I agree. I really like him.
Yeah, plus 350 by decision if you think that Herbert can go all 3. So
yeah, he's got the power. He's got he's a smart, sharp guy. So I think he's going to do something, pick him apart in the first round, maybe get a second round knockout here. I think he gets the finish. But yeah, that's our first fight. Last fight of the prelims. And now we're getting into the main card. This is where we can pull out the graphics.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, don't be sorry at all, bro. But yeah, some of those, my locks for the prelims, I'd just say Guram, I'd say Mick Parkin, and Chris Padilla. That's my personal parlay for the prelims, those 3 fighters. The ones I like the most.
Yeah. No, that's solid. I can vibe with that.
Oh, we're getting vibey. All right. You take the floor with this one, man.
Yeah. Actually, so this guy's a good friend of our page, Nathaniel Wood, plus 130, Morgan Charrier, minus 155. This is basically the battle of England versus France. So these guys have been DMing each other, basically saying, hey, let's get a beer after the fight. There's no bad blood. There's a lot of respect going into this one. But you better believe that the fans have a lot invested in this one because Charrier is from France. Nathaniel Wood is a hometown kid. I believe he actually lives pretty close to the O2 Arena, so he's actually sleeping at home. He's not even at the fighter hotel, so he's just coming straight from his own bed. That to me is a huge advantage. And being at a plus 130, I just I can't help but like those odds. I have seen Morgan Charrier fight live. I saw him in Paris at UFC Paris. He's super athletic. He has great kicks. He's a lot of fun to watch. But I don't know. I kind of like the underdog here at home, Nathaniel Wood. I feel like he's just going to have a little bit of extra juice behind him. My mind is saying Charrier. My heart is saying Nathaniel Wood gets it done at home.
Every page I see, everyone I talk to about this fight is big on Nathaniel Wood, how much they love Nathaniel Wood. And then they say, oh, but I'm going to pick Morgan Charrier. So
I know.
It's just crazy to me. But
I think it's his personality, bro. I think people just like his personality.
Yeah. And he has way more experience in the UFC. Like he has wins over some pretty decent names here if you take a peek. Let's see.
I'm looking at the Sure Dog right now.
Daniel Pineda. He has wins over Andrey Philly, Charles Jourdain. So you know what I mean? Like Morgan's only what? This is his second fight in the UFC, third fight?
I think it's like his third or fourth. Yeah, because he actually, I believe. No, this was a different. Yeah, he was at UFC Paris like a few years back, and I believe he kicked somebody in the gut, and then they thought it was a groin kick, and then he ended up winning by TKO that way. They thought it was a groin kick, and the ref called it off because he has such nasty kicks.
Yeah.
Now I want to change my pick. I'm almost thinking
I do like Morgan a little more in this one if I'm putting my money on it.
Yeah,
I think Nathaniel Wood is just too comfortable in this one. I think he doesn't he obviously respects his opponent, but Morgan's going to be coming for his head in this one. I think he might get a knockout.
I could see like a situation where leg kicks are really doing Nathaniel Wood in. Charrier is going to get in with leg kicks, and then he could get like a second or third round TKO.
Yeah.
Plus 350 KO or TKO.
Yeah. And apparently he's like a superstar or like in Paris, like he has a bunch of followers on Instagram and he's kind of looked at like a celebrity. So, I mean, if they build him up, he beats Nathaniel Wood. He continues to beat these kind of bigger names in his division. He's going to be a star in this when he gets into the rankings here. He's going to be he's going to have a hit on his head.
Because it ain't going to be William Gomez. So it might as well be Morgan Charrier.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
I like this next fight. Jordan Vucenic versus Chris Duncan. Don't know much about Chris Duncan, but Jordan is a beast. And I mean, you let me know what you think about this one. Well, he's got a little reach advantage.
The odds are crazy. And Vucenic, he put up a really, really good fight against Guram Kutateladze or whatever.
Exactly.
Really good fight. And he even said in an interview that he was kind of happy he lost that fight because he thought that Guram got a second chance at his UFC career, that if he had lost, he might have been cut by the UFC, that Jordan was sort of guaranteed another fight because he knew he was an exciting fighter. He knew he had leverage. He wasn't going anywhere. I mean, this just feels like putting him on the main card, UFC London, minus 445 favorite against a plus 350 underdog. I kind of feel like Chris Duncan is being set up to get knocked out here. And, I don't like saying it, but I think this is probably my biggest lock of the night is if I were to bet on a knockout here, it would probably be Vucenic.
Yeah, he says he feels like a different level right now. Well, on the same level, but just different, like the highest of the different level. Like his interview with Mike Owens was pretty interesting.
Well, he has so many different ways to beat you. That's the thing. He can submit you. He can knock you out. I mean, he's plus 180 by submission, plus 330 by knockout, plus 200 by decision. So it's like Vegas can't decide which one he's going to do. That's how well-rounded this guy is.
That's so,
I think pick one of those three and just go with it, you know?
Yeah, I have him on my parlay as well. Yeah. This is the first fight of the main card on my parlay, and I love it. I love it so much.
Let's see for a second. Who's Chris
Duncan fought?
He's fought. I mean, he's 31. He's 12-2, 7 knockouts, 2 submissions. He has fought nobody.
That's what I mean.
Omar Morales, Charlie Campbell, Yanala Schmooze. Oh, he knocked out Charlie Campbell. That's right. He had that crazy fight on Contender Series. Charlie Campbell had him rocked at one, like totally rocked. Like he actually should have been knocked out.
Yes.
But then he had like a comeback. Who's that black guy that fought that got that crazy comeback knockout? It's a famous one where he was like wobbled, but the ref let it go and he ended up getting the knockout. Oh my God. Old UFC clip, heavyweight fight. It was like that, where he was basically just out on his feet and ends up knocking out Charlie Campbell. And that got him into the UFC. But since then, he hasn't really fought anybody. And I just don't see how he's, Vucenic, Cage Warriors, super competitive league. I don't see much for Duncan here.
I'm watching that knockout right now where he gets knocked down and then gets back up.
Yeah, it's crazy. He should have been out. He should have lost that fight.
Totally just gets knocked out and then gets right back up and beats him and wins. That's crazy.
It's funny. The only loss in the past 5 years for Vucenic, other than his UFC debut, was Paul Hughes. That's crazy. 5-round fight.
It's pretty interesting. Honestly.
Yeah. God, who was that knockout that I'm thinking of? It's like a famous knockout, heavyweight fight from like years and years ago.
I was just watching it. The names didn't pull up though, unfortunately.
The dude was like out, and then big bald referee just kept letting it go, and he ends up getting the knockout. Anyways,
anybody in the chat or the comments, let us know. Let us know.
Blanking on it. Anyways, hammer it, bro. Hammer it.
Yes, I agree. Put him in your parlays. He's the lock.
Next, Meatball Molly. We actually got an interview with her earlier today too. She's on home soil, but she actually I believe this is a replacement fight. I think she was supposed to fight somebody else, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, she was supposed to fight Estela Nunes.
Yeah,
Estela Nunes is 6-5, by the way, with a no contest.
Would have been a good one for her.
Would have been a great one for Molly McCann. Now she goes on to facing Alexia Thainara, who's 11-1.
Yes.
Much tougher matchup, and it actually makes Molly a underdog, plus 170 to minus 205. Wow. Yeah, so kind of a tough one for Molly here, if I'm being honest.
Oh, 100%. Did this girl fight on Contender Series as well? Yes.
Yeah, she unanimous decision win on Contender Series, got her in.
I wish I saw that fight. What I'm hearing from other pages is that she's got the power. She's got better submissions. She's bigger of a threat than Molly is in a fight, where if she could impose some heavy strikes in the first round, take her down. I know Molly has good submissions as well, but I think a submission win for Alexia here could be a play. I don't know. Molly's kind of inconsistent. Whenever I bet on her, she loses. Whenever I don't bet on her, she wins. So
last time she fought in London, she got submitted, I believe. And she lost by decision. Lost by submission to Julia Stolyarenko. She has looked a little bit better since moving down to strawweight, in my opinion. I do think she looks a little bit better. True. But there's not much of an age. There's no age gap here. They're both 34. I think Molly is like always a knockout. Like she has like the equalizer that women's divisions don't always have. So I would consider taking the underdog odds here. Her at home, she's got the power for that division, especially.
Yeah.
I don't love it, if I'm being honest, but I'll take Molly just because I think that I think that plus 170 is good enough odds that I can take the value on it.
Alexia Thainara is a pro MMA fighter out of Vergara, Brazil, and is ranked #1 women's pound for pound in Brazil. Apparently, what I'm hearing from the grapevine is she's got the power. She's advanced. Like, she just levels above these other fighters. So Molly, she's not somebody you look at and is like she's levels above all these other fighters. She hasn't gotten into the rankings yet. You know what I mean? Like, so
yeah. So what you're saying is we might be getting a discount at -205 right now.
that's what I'm thinking, dude. I have Alexia in my parlay as well. I think she's a lock here. I don't know. I hate betting on Molly. I just can't do it. She loses me all my money. But I do love her.
I don't know. You swayed me, I think. You might have swayed me on this one. I'm looking at the takedown average too, takedown accuracy, strikes absorbed, significant strike. Molly's got a huge
moment for her. If she could get a win over Molly McCann, this is gonna boost her up a bit into the strawweight competition. And what if she does get another win and another win? She's ranked #1 pound for pound in Brazil. She's gonna get some more opportunities from the UFC. So she could be a serious contender come a year from now. This could be the first time we get to really see her do something.
Duke Mad Duck asks, any idea if Sean Kamali will be on Dana White's Contender Series this year? I don't know. I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't know if you know anything about that, Cody.
Sean Kamali. Don't even know who that is, bro.
Ludovic Klein. Who should be next for Ludovic Klein?
Sean Kamali, 4-0. Where's he from? Is this another Indian fighter? No, he's from Europe. He's a heavyweight. I mean, it makes sense. 4-0. He's a big heavyweight. He's got some hype around him. He's getting TKOs, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see him on Contender Series for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he is. He looks pretty nasty.
I mean, he's a big boy getting knockouts.
Yeah, this might be a question for Mike Owens, who's in London right now, because he's more locked in with these UK-based fighters.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing he would have the answer for you. So tap in with Mike Owens, Mad Duck. He might have an answer for you. All right, so I guess I'm switching over to Alexia. By the way,
let's do it, dude. I feel good about it too. It. I don't feel good putting my money on Molly. I just never do.
No, and I think -200 is like might be a discount at this point, for all we know. You know what's so funny, dude? I didn't even realize fucking Kevin Holland was fighting on this card. I made the graphic for this fight. I literally made a graphic, but this dude fights so much that I completely forgot he was even fighting on this card, and he's been kind of quiet during fight week too. Like,
fun fact, he's actually fought 20 fights since 2020 in the UFC, the most out of any UFC fighter currently in the UFC. So he's the most active fighter in the UFC.
I think he needs to slow his activity down, bro, because I think it's like affecting his performances.
He's getting choked out in this one. He's getting choked out.
Yeah. I mean, +110 for Holland, -130 for Nelson. It's definitely a good fight. Like, I don't know. What do you think?
Nelson's submission. He's a submission specialist. This guy is crazy on the ground. And what RDR just did to Kevin Holland in the first round, yes, he was 20 pounds heavier. That was a big advantage. I heard that Kevin Holland's having some problems with his weight right now. He's like, he released the video to Instagram. I don't know why fighters do this. He was like, I'm 100. I'm eating so much food out here in London. The food's so good. I'm going to have trouble making weight. Nelson, do you want to fight at 175? Like, no, dude, you got to do your weight cut and you got to be a professional. He's one of the least professional guys in the UFC. I was a huge fan on Kevin Holland, but he always loses me money whenever I put money on him. So, like, how I felt with Molly is how I feel about Kevin. I'm fading them forever, never putting money on them. But Gunner, submission, I love it. I have it locked. It's great odds. I think he could get it done. I heard MMA Guru. He also has this Gunner Nelson as submission first round. I think it might take a round or two, but I think he does get the finish.
You know, it's weird. These two guys have something in common here. They're both fighters that are pretty good are really good against mid-level fighters, and then they lose to all the good fighters.
Exactly.
Like Gunner has wins over Barberena, Takashi Saito, but then he loses to Gilbert Burns and Leon Edwards. But then he beats Alex Oliveira. But then he loses to Ponzinibbio. Then he beats Alan Jouban, beats Tubanov, and then he loses to Damian Maia. Right? Kevin Holland, same deal. Beats Michael Oleksiejczuk, but loses to DeLeeds, loses to Reiner de Ritter, loses to Michael Page, loses a split decision to JDM, by the way, which is a fight that a lot of people thought Holland was going to win, that he maybe should have won. I think JDM won, but people believe that he might have gotten robbed on the scorecards. beats Chiesa, Ponzinibbio, loses to Stephen Thompson, loses to Hamzat. Like, he beats all the guys he's supposed to, loses to all the better fighters. So I have no idea what to think about this fight, to be perfectly honest. I'm just going to flip a coin right now because I
think this is a setup, dude. I think it's a setup. Kevin Holland needs to prove that he could do something against takedowns. He's been talking about it since forever. Like, he's in the corner talking to Khabib and DC saying, "Oh, how's my wrestling? Coach me on wrestling, whatever." Like, and it never gets improved ever. He's a black belt, but he doesn't have any ground. Like, he has submission wins, but when he's facing against a submission specialist, he gets submitted. I think it's going to happen here.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it's one of those fights where Holland will clearly win all the exchanges on the feet.
Exactly.
But the second Gunnar gets his hands on him and takes him to the ground or gets him up against the fence, whatever, like, the fight just feels like it's going to be over.
He'll take his back in 2 seconds and lock in the choke, and he'll be tapping, and he'll get up and he'll be like, "Oh, what the fuck?" Start freaking out and whatever. And it's going to be one of those.
Are you sure you're not also just a little scarred from betting on Holland against Reiner de Ritter?
Yeah, I'm a little scarred. Yeah. But,
Plus 200 by submission for Gunnar, by the way.
What's knockout for Kevin Holland?
Plus 250.
Nah, so don't do it. That's throwing your money in the garbage, guys. Don't do that.
I think I'll just go Gunnar money line.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the best bet.
It is. He's just going to get him on the ground and wear him out.
Yep. All right. Co-main.
Yanni.
This is a crazy fight, to be honest. This is a really crazy fight.
Big on Jan here, to be honest. He's a little older, coming off injury, but sometimes these fighters, after they get all their surgeries and stuff, it actually makes them better. You know what I mean? They're actually healthy now. So we got a healthy Jan Blachowicz who's taken some time off. I think it was like 2 years or something like that. He's faced levels of higher competition. Decision win, no contest against Ankalaev, which I thought he won that fight. A fight with Alex Pereira where Alex Pereira won decision, where I thought Jan Blachowicz should have won that fight. There was talks of Jan fighting John Jones at one time. And he's better on the feet. I don't think Carlos is going to be he might get him clinched up against the cage, but Jan's got experience. He's not going to get taken down here. He's not going to get dominated in this fight. I think he's going to dominate the exchanges, use his reach, kick his leg, and tire him out. It's a 3-round fight, so I don't know if he gets the finish, but I have Jan Blachowicz here.
You know, it's weird because Blachowicz is 42. You don't realize how old he is, but
everyone's saying that he's too old.
He doesn't feel that old to me, you know?
Yeah.
He feels like a young 42 to me, but he's been around for so long. He's fought everybody. He has so many big wins. Dominic Reyes, Israel Adesanya, Luke Rockhold.
Count him up.
Rakic has a draw against Magomed Ankalaev.
Yep.
And then he lost to Alex Pereira, which I actually think there's an argument that he won that fight.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, Olberg I like a lot, but I mean, like, his biggest win is fucking knockout over Alonzo Menefield. And, you know, he won a decision against Volkan Oezdemir, who just knocked out Johnny Walker. Mm-hmm. So I'm not exactly sure how to rank Olberg at this point. I think it's one of those things like Olberg is going to have to prove that he can beat a top 10 guy, top 5 guy before I start believing that he can beat Jan Blachowicz. So I think I have to bet on Blachowicz until I'm proven otherwise, especially at plus 235. Dude's an absolute legend. So
yeah, he is huge plus money on Blachowicz. I don't understand the disrespect. It's an age thing and it's a time off thing, an injury thing, you know, but I think he's going to come back and be just the best version of himself, where Carlos Ulberg's never fought a 5-round fight before. Yes, this is 3 rounds, but if you think Carlos is just going to come in here and totally have Jan on his back foot the whole fight, it's just not going to happen. So,
and plus 450 by decision. If you don't think that he can knock out Ulberg, I think he can get some takedowns, mix in some MMA, and get a decision win here. I could see that. So
I totally agree. He could even get a submission, something crazy here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like Jan.
I like Jan as well.
All right, main event. Leon versus Sean Brady. This was supposed to be Leon versus Jack Della Maddalena. Maddalena was obviously pulled out of the fight to fight Bilal Muhammad because Shavkat Rakhmonov is injured. So now JDM is fighting Bilal at UFC 315, I believe, in Montreal.
Yep.
And replacing him with Sean Brady. And I would argue this is a much worse matchup for Leon Edwards. Even though I know JDM is really good on his feet too, this is obviously a mismatch on the feet. But that's not why it's a problem for Leon. The problem for Leon is what we just saw Bilal Muhammad do to him for 5 rounds in the last time we saw him. He's a striker who's always had trouble with wrestlers. Guys like Usman have always been able to control him pretty easily. Even Colby had moments of success, even though he broke his elbow in that fight.
That's what I'm saying.
I got to be honest, I don't love this matchup for Leon at all. And I could totally see him getting choked out in this fight.
Wow.
If I'm being, I could see like a 3rd, 4th round submission. Leon has some early success, but I just think that like cardio wise, Brady's really, really, really solid. He's got great cardio. He's kind of like an Alex Fernandes type in the way that he approaches the game. And I could see him sort of just wrestling his way to a win.
Yeah, it's going to be so sad, the main event, just being on the ground for 20 minutes out of 25 minutes. It's a very real possibility here. Can Leon prove that he's still title worthy? That's what this fight is, right? If he wins this fight, he doesn't have to. He could sit around and wait for that title fight.
Right.
If it's against Shop, Bilal, whoever it's against, he could sit around and claim, "Yo, I'm next." So this is a huge fight for him. It's in his territory, right? I'm a huge Rocky Edwards fan. I have him on my parlay, but if Jan cashes and I'm 8 out of 8 fights and this is my last fight, I'm cashing out 100%. Sean Brady, what I'm hearing from him or from people over in London right now is that he's calm, he's confident, and this is a huge opportunity for him as well. If he gets this win, maybe an Ian Gary, and then that's like a title contention match or a title #1 contender fight. That could be pretty cool.
I think that's a good. I think that fight is actually Brady's been trying to get that fight for a while. He's been talking about that fight, if I'm not mistaken.
And that's going to piss Ian Gary off because he wanted that title shot. He's crying about JDM getting the shot over him right now. He's like, I'm ready to go. Buckley's also like, what the hell? I should be getting that fight. Everybody wants that title, but somehow 5th. What rank is JDM? Like 8th? He's not top 5.
Well, he beat Gilbert Burns. Let's see, UFC.
It was surprising to see that he got that the fight in Montreal and not somebody else. In my
opinion.
I
mean, it's surprising, but I guess it's also once Shavkat went down, I think they couldn't give it to Kamaru, who is on a 3-fight losing streak. They couldn't, like, Brady was going to be a big jump. JDM is number 4. So if it wasn't going to be Shavkat, it was going to be JDM.
I got you. We do have a chat that says everyone want to sleep on Brady. Edwards won't out-chin Brady. He did barely beat Burns, but Burns is a dog. I think Brady's a dog. I think Leon Edwards, he has like some photos that we released on Inside Fighting of possible staph infection. What did we see with Sean Strickland when they have staph? Dude, they're tired. They're not fighting. Like, they're not taking risks. I don't think Leon Edwards is going to take much risk in this fight. He's not going to put himself in uncomfortable positions where Sean Brady is going to put himself in the most uncomfortable positions. He's going to try to – you don't think that he's going to be shooting for 20 takedowns in this fight?
No, he is. And Leon is very much like a Floyd Mayweather type. He really likes to win on points. He likes to keep his distance, stay out of danger.
Exactly.
He's going to try to low kick Brady, take his legs out from under him, get some body kicks in there, try to eat into his cardio a little bit. That's what he's going to try to do early on. I just worry that he hasn't made enough ground in his takedown defense from what we saw against Bilal Muhammad. But there is one thing that really counts against Sean Brady, and it is a pretty important thing. He's the only guy to get finished by Bilal Muhammad, and that is a
that's a
big
stat.
That is a damning. That is damning evidence against you if you get knocked out by Bilal Muhammad.
You remember
it's a really tough one to call, but I'm picking Brady. I actually really like Brady by submission here. I think that this is a pretty good bet at plus 350.
When I saw the odds and I saw Sean Brady as a favorite, I was like jumping on Leon Edwards here. I was like, Leon Edwards is the GOAT. Leon Edwards this, Leon Edwards that, beat Kamaru Usman, this, that. But the Colby fight, his last performance against Bilal, I don't feel confident at all. Although I am picking Leon Edwards here, he's just going to have to win those first 2-3 rounds on his feet. He's got to squeeze him out. He can't get taken down until the 3-minute mark. You know what I mean? Because if it's on the feet, I do believe that he could control those exchanges a bit. But once Sean Brady's losing on the cards, he's going to get desperate, I believe. And this is going to be his opportunity in a 5-round fight. That fourth and fifth round, I think he puts it all on the line, and he could get that submission win that you're saying is good money. So that could be a good.
I mean, look, I would happily lose money betting on this one because I would love to see a Leon Edwards knockout in London. I think that it would be a scene. It would be awesome to watch, but I have to think with my head when I'm spending my money, and I don't like the matchup. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. And then that JDM versus Bilal. I mean, we're not breaking that fight down, but that's a weird one. I think JDM has a real shot there. He does. More exciting fighter. He has the finish potential where Bilal is just a decision fighter. So
yeah, and I also think that he'll do better against the takedowns than Leon did. But we'll see. We'll see. This was fun, bro. Thanks for
I had a great time. I will definitely do another one of these in the future. There's no doubt. And everybody, like, comment, subscribe. Jack Shady Grady, what up? What up in the chat? We just broke down the whole card for Leon Edwards versus
Sean Brady.
There we go. we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
And then excited to watch this one. Remember, lock in those bets. We just gave you all the bets because this fight card starts early Saturday morning, 12 p.m.
Yes, Leon, no excuses. You're not fighting at 5 a.m. this time, bro.
Exactly.
You're fighting at normal time.
No excuses in this one. If he loses, he'll go down quite a bit in the rankings here. I wouldn't be surprised if he's like a 6th, 7th, 5th kind of guy. Maybe they just Sean Brady gets a knockout or a finish early. He could take that number 1 spot. Who knows? He could look really, really, really impressive in this one. But again, awesome talking to you, Jesse. We're going to keep grinding out these edits from Mike Owens for you guys. Follow Inside Fighting. Follow Cody Talks IF. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Love you guys. Great talks. Peace, bro.